I'm sure you've heard the news, but not like this. Get ready to dive into what's happening in the world of MMA. We're your go-to spot for fight night predictions, fighter interviews, and all the behind-the-scenes action you crave. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Give it up for your host, the one and only Panda.
What's up, everybody? Richard from PandaMMANews. We got Daddy's little helper here today.
AKA Big Poppy.
You know, kids, they have the wildest imaginations. That's all I know. But let's go ahead and recap UFC 303.
What a shit show.
I was about to say, bit of a shit show. Bit of a shit show. So, first fight of the night, Ricky Simón versus, this sounds like a Harry Potter name, Vinicius Oliveira?
Vinicius Oliveira?
Yeah, there we go. Now it sounds more like a Roman warrior name. But,
Vinicius.
yeah, so Ricky Simón he didn't do what I thought he was going to do.
Ricky, dude. First of all, you didn't answer to our DMs, so shame on you.
Yeah, shame on you, dude.
You know, but we also understand that you're training for a fight. And you're
Hey, no, fuck that. When Panda MMA hits you up, you get back to us ASAP. Telling you right now, dude.
No,
Just like a wife back in the 50s that didn't do the dishes.
The thing with Ricky last night, it looked like he just couldn't get into gear. He was sitting there taking pictures of Vinicius while he was just kind of floating around and stunning him throughout the fight.
Taking pictures for his OnlyFans?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that fight was a little bit of a shit show. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Throughout most of these prelim cards, we were busy getting hammered. So, you know, they were on. We have a projector that drops down here, but we were busy getting drunk. So, yeah, there's that.
I'm just going to, rolling into the Jap versus Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep that. I don't know if I'd actually say that on YouTube.
Well, anyways, the Jap versus Mr. Hernandez here. Dude, he looked pretty good. Like 10-0 coming into the UFC. I'm excited to see him fight again. Not a lot to say there, but how about our old dog Andre Arlovski, man?
Arlovski?
He's been fighting since I was in diapers.
Well, that was his last fight, according to Dana White at the press conference last night.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, no, Dana White said he's not giving him another fight. But what's funny about that is he gave Karate Hottie a legit retirement send-off, created that package for him, and Arlovski, he's like, nah, he's retired at the at the post-press. We don't give a fuck about you, Arlovski. We don't care that you've been here longer than anyone else in the fucking roster. Fuck you.
He started fighting, I think, before DC, and then kept fighting beyond DC's career, so that's just insane. But, dude, the guy he fought, Boudet, I mean, that's all you are, bro. All you are is cleaning buttholes because that shit was whack. You're freaking...
Yeah, how you're in the UFC is a little beyond me, but...
That was hot dog water,
I'm
bro.
not in the UFC either, so I can't talk that much, but I'm looking up Arlovski's record just so we can tell you exactly when he started. I know it was like 2003 or some shit. Arlovski record.
But, yeah, Michelle, I think it's definitely time to retire. You had a good career up in the beginning, but these last.
Did you say
Michelle.
Oh, I only know her as Karate Hottie. Threw me off right there.
You fucking nerd.
I'm like, Michelle, who the fuck is Michelle? Okay, Arlovski started in the year 2000. UFC 28. So let that sink in. 24 years in the UFC. But yeah, anyways, Karate Hottie, though, definitely time. I'm glad they gave her a legit send-off. You know, not one that Arlovski probably deserved, but didn't get. But
Probably deserved.
Yeah, you know, he's basically a professional.
Dude, he held the record for the fastest knockout for the longest time.
Yeah, he's basically a professional. If you really think about it.
He's basically a professional, you guys.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, so good thing they gave her the send-off that she should have had. That hematoma on the side of her head was fucking nasty, though. Oof. Looked like Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
She looked like a fucking retarded rhino.
Another word we can't say on YouTube. A retarded rhino, okay. And yeah, so that brings us into our normal prelim cards. This fight especially we want to touch on. Peyton Talbot, dude, what a fucking stud, dude. He put out a video like 48 hours before the fight on how to beat him, where his weaknesses were, just so he could have faced his opponent and his opponent could have no excuse on why he lost. And then the call out after, our boy fucking Adrian Yanez, fucking Christ, man.
Dude,
That's a fight.
Speaking of Giannis, he left him looking like a fucking like some socks you wore too many times in the summertime, and the shit was standing up to put him in the next day.
Look like a tube sock he had going through puberty.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Peyton's leaving him out there high and dry.
Yep, high and dry. So, yeah, that was a good call out. I definitely want to see that fight. We're going to move on to the next one, Charles Jourdain versus Jean Silva. What can we say besides that nasty fucking uppercut? Dude, that uppercut was dirty. He grabbed the top of his head, and it was already at an angle, brought his head in, and bop! He met two forces, dude. It was beautiful.
Just like a Peas candy dispenser, man. Just pop, 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 pop.
Oh, yeah, that was rock'em sock'em right there, dude.
That shit was sick.
Yeah, so there's not much to say off that aside from Charles Jourdain. Maybe DM us when you're awake, and we can get you in for an interview. But until then, rest up, obviously, because you're asleep still. Now we're moving into Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. Andre Fili wasn't the fight, but Cub Swanson, dude, he actually looked good, especially for a guy who's, what is he, like 38, 39?
Yeah, he's getting up there. He's had a long career. But congrats to Philly Touchy for touching and feeling all over Cub and ultimately getting the decision win.
Yeah, he's 40 years old, dude, Cub Swanson, and he still had that good of a fight.
Man,
that's pretty legit.
So that tells me I got 10 years to start looking a little bit better so I can look more like Cub Swanson.
You just need prison tattoos, dude. You're there. And you're there.
And a diet.
Prison tattoos, and you keep using the word you used to describe that young man on the early prelims, and you're there, dude.
Yeah, baby. Come on.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and then Joe Pyfer, he didn't like his fraud check his last fight, so he came back and he denied that fraud check claim. He got the KO.
Did it quick, too, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking minute and 25 seconds.
If you're not finishing fast, are you even finishing? That's what I would say.
Hey, man.
Apparently
nice guys do finish first.
Sometimes. Sometimes it depends. If they're really nice guys, won't they finish last? But, yeah, so that moves us into the main card. Let's talk about this fucking snooze fest, dude. Ian Gary, you should not have won this fight. I'm just going to come out and say that should have been a fucking draw.
Listen here, Count Calculus.
You couldn't even submit the worst guy on the ground in the fucking division. Like,
I'm convinced at this point you couldn't submit a toddler, but dude, seriously, like, you want to call yourself the future and you can't even submit MVP when he's dry in the first round? Get real, bro. That was the most
dude, he was as dry as your wife, dude.
Do you yeah.
Ian Gary, your wife is dry. That's why you have to watch her with another man. I am disappointed in you.
That's why you have a nutritionist, right?
Yeah, that's why the nutritionist made you a vegan, so you can watch and cry in the corner. Just like he did in this fight. You just sat there and watched him, waited for an opening and take MVP down and do to him what you can't do to your wife because she won't allow you.
You got paid to hug MVP for 3 rounds.
Yeah, you sniffed the crotch, dude, and you couldn't even do it properly.
You were given a leg. You were gifted a few things in this fight. You
gifted
couldn't finish
a
him.
neck and a fucking ankle.
Look,
couldn't do shit.
My thing is, you're going to be called the future.
The future of what? The fucking piss break?
The future of, we turned the TV off during this fight. That's what you're going to be because, honestly, man, I should have took a bathroom break. I was just waiting for MVP to sleep your ass. I could tell right now you were not comfortable having that standoff match with him on his feet.
Yeah, and this bullshit, your claim that you're faster than him? Dude, no.
Dude.
You were in slow-mo.
You're like a Honda Civic, and this fool's coming by you like a fucking Porsche 911.
Dude, I wish you got hit by a Honda Civic so I don't have to see you anymore. But, anyways, moving on. we got the people's main event. Byron Borna Silva versus Macy Shazan. That's the people's main event, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking boring ass fight up until the split.
Justin Bieber pulled out the win, man. Congrats to Justin.
Yep.
Myra Not So Bueno Silva got a pretty nasty gash. I mean, hey, hats off to her though. She didn't want to end that fight. She was ready to rock and roll. Ultimately, the ref had the decision to make, and he hears cuts too deep and throws his hands up and calls it. Didn't expect that in Vegas, but it is what it is. It got us to the next fight, which is all we really wanted, right?
That's all we can ask for, man. And you know what? I'll tell you what. That just strengthens my claim that women's MMA should be separate, so I can turn it off.
Hey,
and
man.
for any women that wants to come on here and get interviewed, we respect you. We just don't want to see you fight. Same.
That's all we're trying to say.
Okay, that's all we're trying to say. You know, unless you're Macy Barber, then I might want to catch a little peek. But besides that, you know, we're gonna we're gonna move on to the old Lionheart versus Roman Delice.
The sort of professional Lionheart Smith.
Your claim last week of him pretty much being a professional is a lot more valid now, considering the fact that, bro, Roman Delice was coming off a 2-loss streak, and he was moving up from middleweight. And you got dropped by him, and you got dominated on the ground by him, and you're supposed to be a legit black belt, Anthony. I like you, dude. I watch fucking Believe You Me. And this is how you do me? I bet on you, dude. You made me look stupid. You are one of the many people that made me look completely dumb. And I'm dumb by myself. I don't need help. So thanks.
Hey, man, it went to a decision. Like you said, it's just guy moves up a weight class, coming off of a 2-fight loss streak, and then breaks it with Anthony Smith. It's just, we expected more from you, dude. We expected a lot more from you. Maybe you do start to consider retirement if you're not even if you're losing to people that aren't even in your division. It's like something's got to give. And right now, it's your winning record.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's gonna stop being given is my money to watch you fight, dude. I'm about done with that. That was some bukkake if I've ever seen it. But that moves us into our co-main, and on our paperwork it says Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez at featherweight. That got changed the night before the fight to lightweight, and then 2 hours before Diego Lopez was meant to make the walk, we find out Brian Ortega is suddenly sick and thrown up and can't make it to the octagon because he has too high of a fever. So instead we get a fucking warrior, a dog, Dan Ige, who stepped up on 2 hours' notice. He was at home, bought the pay-per-view, about to sit down and watch it, and he gets the news. He's like, fuck it, I'll go scrap. I don't care. And then it wasn't the most exciting fight, but it was a goddamn good fight. I would actually like to see a rematch with them both with a full camp actually preparing for each other, because Diego Lopez wasn't preparing for a striker like Dan Ige. He was preparing for a grappling guy.
He wasn't preparing for that weight class either.
Yeah.
He had to weigh in 3 times prior to the fight.
Yeah.
Dude, Dan Ige, mad respect for you, dude. You're a fucking pimp. I love it.
And Diego, dude. Diego Lopez is a pimp, too, for taking 3 different fights at 3 different weight classes.
Oh, yeah, no. I already knew Diego was a pimp, but what I like is just that both these guys in their willingness to fight. Diego's like, hey, man, I don't give a shit who comes stepping into this ring. We're throwing hands. And that's exactly what happened. He pulled out the victory. You know, hats off to both these guys. I would like to see them run it back with a full camp preparing for each other. That would be dope. I also still want to see Diego Lopez fight Brian Ortega. I still think that's going to be a dope fight. And Diego,
it won't happen because Brian Ortega's moving up. Dana White already said he's moving up to 155.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, so that's why it's not going to happen anymore unless Diego Lopez moves up.
So who takes third?
They're gonna. I imagine that he's just going to be exited out of the rankings and everyone's just going to move up a spot. That's what I would imagine, unless they keep him ranked for a little bit and thinking he might get fucked up at lightweight and have to move back down. But
I think we're all thinking this though. But regardless, I think Diego deserves a top 5 fighter.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe Volkanovski. I think that's a pretty good fight. Diego, he does have power, but it doesn't seem like he has like Topuria level power. So I don't think he's gonna get finished as quickly as he did before. I actually think that would be a good fight. I don't think he would get finished as long as Volkanovski takes enough time off and allows his chin to properly recover. And so, I mean, him wanting to step in on against Michael Chandler on 3 weeks' notice is definitely not what I mean by taking enough time to let your chin recover. You just got knocked out twice, and you're gonna go fight another fucking dog. Fucking short notice, another weight class up.
You know what would be a good fight is Diego Lopez versus give him Yair.
Yair would be good.
I'd love to see him against Yair because you got 2 Mexican
Arnold
spirits.
Allen would be a good one too. I mean, he's number 6, but Arnold Allen's still a dog. He fought Max Holloway.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying, you know, he's company man. I think he's there. Give him a top 5. Or
even Calvin Kattar. I would be happy with even top 10.
Oh, in the fucking sphere. you give Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez.
I think Dana White said that he's going to let him fight at the Sphere. I want to say Sphere so bad, but it's Sphere.
The Britney Sphere.
Yeah, Britney Spears. But yeah, no, at the
I think
Sphere
that'd be
for
a
sure.
fire fight, dude.
Speaking of the Sphere, you see,
you know, both those guys are just gonna keep it standing and just bang.
Oh yeah, hopefully not in any way that I have to revert my eyes. But yeah, no. Speaking of the Sphere, you see that Dana White sold out to fucking Daddy Riyadh. It's now Riyadh season, Noche UFC, because he said that he already spent $17 million in production for this fucking event, and he hasn't even announced a fight card. So he went and took some big Saudi money.
That Saudi sauce.
Yep, that Saudi sauce. He had to hold hands with whatever the hell their emperor's name is, their leader. But yeah, there's actually a video of him holding this guy's hand walking around. But
holding his hand, holding his pocket.
Yeah, holding his prison pocket.
Come on, Dana.
Finger popping. But that moves us into our main event, Alex Pieta. Shama versus Yuri Prohaska.
Shama Rex.
A.K.A. the Pure Samurai. A.K.A. not so pure anymore.
AKA starched.
Yeah, he, you know, I was hoping because in the first fight, he was winning the first round up until, you know, the second round came and then he got clipped. But I was hoping he'd learn from that and I don't know, would have adjusted his style a little bit, but it just seemed like it went the same way from the beginning. He came out wild, got the shit kicked out of his calves, so much so he kept having to switch stances. And then fucking Yuri Alex just does what he does, dude. He hit him with that left hook right at the end of the bell. Yuri got saved by the bell because the buzzer went off right when he hit the ground. And then we go into round 2, dude, and fucking 2 seconds into round 2, fucking Yuri got switch kicked to hell. He got a nice fucking high switch kick, got knocked out, and he didn't look so pure getting up, man.
What I saw was Yuri's whole thing was he was trying to defend that leg kick the whole time. And at first he came up, hands a little higher. That's what I expected, was Yuri to make an adjustment there because of that deadly left hook. But ultimately, man, we gotta give Alex credit where credit's due. We always talk about his power, but we never just talk about the fact that he's just setting everything up so well that when it comes time to implement that bomb, it's always there. Because that leg kick came from him setting up, throwing teat shots all night, or you know, a whole round and part of the second round. But ultimately, I mean, he set that up, and Yuri fell right into that trap, dude, and got cracked.
Yeah, he got cracked. It kind of sucked to see. And Dana White, you know, at the post-press conference, he's saying that he wants to see Alex stay put at light heavyweight, even though Joe Rogan and everybody else thinks he should move up. He wants to see him stay put at light heavyweight, and he wants to see him defend. But we were talking about it over breakfast, and there's really no one I care to see him defend against. And we already saw Jan Blachowicz fight him, and that was boring as all fucking hell. Yeah, in both of our opinions, Jan won that fight, but only because he was holding him down. And I don't really want to see that again. If I'm going to see that again, let's just give him fucking Ankalaev, because Ankalaev at least has more recent knockouts on his record. But no, what I want to see is him move up. I want to see, honestly, Tom Aspinall, he needs to, after he fights Curtis Blades, if he wins that, he needs to just sit on the side. Don't fight Alex Pereira. Sit on the side, dude. You have #1 ticket. You deserve to fight for the title. Pereira should get winner. That or Pereira should go fight someone highly ranked, you know, maybe like a Derek Lewis, another heavy hitter, take his spot, and then, you know, there's even more claim to that title. Because I know Alex wants to stay active.
I could see it playing out like this. I could see Dana getting what he wants, and it also helps the heavyweight division move along while John Jones has this thing in a chokehold and it's just being held up. But I could definitely see it actually being Alex and Ankalaev paired up, or they may try to run it back with Jan, but it just makes more sense at this point since he's already fought Jan to give him Ankalaev being
in Abu Dhabi.
In Abu Dhabi, being that he's ranked second right now in the division and he's coming off of a win, so it just makes a lot of sense to pair up and make that fight. Given that Alex wins that fight, which we all probably know what's going to happen there. He's going to go to the heavyweight division, and hopefully by then things have played out enough where whoever's the champion can take that fight. And I think Alex deserves it at that point. You interject him, you throw him right into that mix. You don't have him fight anybody in the division. He gets a one-way ticket to trying to be the first person in the UFC to win 3 belts in 3 divisions.
Actually, if you really break it down on paper, he's not the first person. Max Holloway is. Max Holloway had an interim belt, he had a world championship belt, and he had the BMF. If we really want to break it down.
I'm talking about 3 weight
Well,
classes.
yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, if we on paper, just like on paper, Anthony Smith is champ. On paper, Max Holloway is the first 3 champ. You know,
Yeah.
But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that fight. It's a little scary though, but it would show us if Alex is actually a legit black belt, because he got rewarded as black belt after he knocked out Jamal Hill. So yeah, it'll tell us if he's a legit black belt, because he is going to get taken down in that fight.
Which is weird to me. I mean, it's just, how do you get a black belt for knocking somebody out? Doesn't make sense to me.
Dude, because jiu-jitsu doesn't work if you're fucking sleeping.
Yeah, that's the ultimate jiu-jitsu. That's how you become a black belt.
Yeah,
you don't even use the jiu-jitsu.
Knock your coach the fuck out, you'll get a black belt.
If you don't even use the jiu-jitsu, then you're actually a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's the weird paradox behind that.
If you're too much man to be held down, dude, I mean,
Yeah,
what the fuck is a belt? That's just to hold my pants up,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, might as well just be throwing out force chokes.
Yeah, I mean, people in karate get black belts, dude, in like 3 years. That's why karate's a fucking joke. But yeah, so I mean that was for what it was a pretty good event. I mean, we only had a few knockouts, and I don't know if you blame that on the gloves, because you know everyone's trying to blame that on the gloves, but we only had a few knockouts.
Alex doesn't seem to have a problem with it.
Alex could knock someone out if he's wearing fucking pillows on his fist. Like, that's just he fought in kickboxing. He's knocking people out with fucking 10-ounce gloves. So there's that. But yeah, overall good event. Especially props to the UFC being able to save this card not once, not twice, not 3 times, like 6 times, dude. They fucking saved this card.
This card was cursed. The minute Connor dipped out, everything went to shit.
Yeah, they definitely all deserve a fucking vacation after that shit. But yeah, so that's the end of the recap we got there. Let's go ahead and we're gonna talk about this with Chris Moutinho if he shows up. We have a special guest today, Chris Moutinho. He's the one with the green hair that fought Sean O'Malley, the one that kept taking massive shots to the face and calling O'Malley a little bitch right after, like a true fucking dog. But
The guy's a fucking savage.
yeah, he's a savage. But we're waiting for him to show up, so we're just kind of killing time right now. But we can go in and start touching on this a little bit. This upcoming weekend, there's no UFC fights, but we do have Diaz versus Masvidal 2 in boxing, which I will not be paying for, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. But yeah, no, we are definitely gonna watch that. And I'm just gonna go out and say it, dude. I think Masvidal fucking dominates Diaz. I think it's from round 1 to Diaz going to sleep in probably round 3. I don't see Diaz making it.
We didn't even talk about this, and that's exactly how I see it going down too. But granted, if you go based on our money bet segment on our first episode,
Panda picks.
You might actually be hesitant to listen to what the fuck we're saying right
Hey,
now.
we're just 2 drunk guys. So,
Hey,
you know.
hey, I was right on one of them.
Yeah,
which-
I was right on the one that I picked both of them on. So I picked Alex and Yuri, so I was right on one of them. And also I was right on Diego Lopez because I had him against Brian Ortega.
if you do it that way, you can't be wrong.
Can't be wrong.
But no, seriously, it's like, damn it. I had in my triple parlay, I had Ortega, Smith, and the not so bueno Silva. And dude, was I fucking wrong. One of them doesn't even show up to the party, which by the way, if you guys do bet online, they fuck you. So just be aware of that. If a parlay falls out, you
don't get a refund. You don't get to reset your parlay. All they do is kick that leg out and they readjust the odds. So if you thought you were getting like a $600 payout and one falls out, they don't give a fuck. You're going to get $300 and you don't get a choice.
They're gonna tell you to eat ass.
Yeah. And literally, they will hand you a spoon, throw their legs up in the air, and say, "Get to munching."
And they didn't
So.
even shave first, so it's not even.
They didn't even white, dude.
Put it that way.
Your tongue's a fucking boudet at that point.
Yeah, we got fucking Lionheart's opponent out there.
Yeah, dude, you're fucking. Your tongue is about to have the head movement of fucking Lionheart. But
So yeah, we ultimately basically lost all $2,000.
yep. So
Both
this
of
week
us,
we're
so.
gonna go ahead and flip that up. So we restart with $2,000 again. I'm betting the house on Diaz on Masvidal. Sorry, by whatever he wants.
So help us, motherfuckers.
Yeah, send in your bets, you fucking piece of shit. Let's see how you do, you fucking
Get in
pussies.
the fucking comment chat and chat us up. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, dude, slide in my DMs, dude. Your wife is in me DMs.
That's not exclusive to Connor, guys. You
No.
can slide into DMs too.
Have your wives get in my DMs. I'm lonely.
and give us your picks.
give us your picks, and I'll give her something else that rhymes with pick.
Because you know why? Because
We got a lot of Jews down there.
we did a terrible job. We absolutely lost all of our money. It was basically binomics. We did absolutely as good as Joe did in the first debate.
I walked in, I said, wow, what a bunch of terrible picks. But, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and wait for a second for our guest to hop on, and we will be back in a moment. All right, guys, so we're back. Turn of events, Chris Martino, he had a last-minute emergency pop-up, so he won't be able to join us today. We're going to try to get him on during the week or early next week if possible. But we do have some exciting guests coming up this upcoming Saturday, so tune in for those. But, you know, we're going to touch in on something we didn't touch in on before, which is the Power Slap event that went down Friday night. So the first fight we're going to touch on is Vern the Mechanic versus Terp Daddy Not So Slim.
Dude, how about that worm at the end of that fight, man?
Dude, the best part about that is the fact that homeboy at the very beginning, Terp Daddy Not So Slim, was looking across at Vern saying, fuck you, bitch, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And then he got fucking put on his ass night-night, and he woke up to a fucking guy in a kilt doing the fucking worm over his dead body.
These slap fighters are a different breed, man. It's so entertaining to watch. I feel like going to a live event would be so dope, not having cage interference
And seeing a bunch of crackheads just slap each other.
and just seeing the type of breed that steps foot on that.
Because that would be pretty epic. But, yeah, so that was probably my favorite one. I tune into Power Slap every once in a while. It's something to tune into on Friday nights. Vern, since I started watching it the very beginning, the show Power Slap is kind of like Ultimate Fighter. I started watching it then, and Vern was my favorite guy in the house. He was the guy everybody was afraid to go against. But, yeah, so next up we have Paige Van Zandt versus...
the Bull Dyke, Wolmarian.
Yeah, the Dyke of Bulls, Wolmarian. There's not much to say to this other than the fact that Paige Van Zandt is attractive, so they gave her the win. We both watched it over again, and we watched it in slow-mo, and Paige Van Zandt flinched, which is a foul in Power Slap. She flinched every single round, and they didn't call a single one of it. And she also clubbed the other Bull Dyke chick a few times.
Pretty much did all the don't do's and still somehow came out with the victory.
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. And then we move on to the co-main event of that event, which is, what is it?
Blackburn versus Muniz?
Yeah, Blackburn versus Muniz. Muniz was a champion. He was the coach for the last season of Power Slap. It was an all right Power Slap match. Blackburn, a little fun tidbit about Blackburn is Blackburn said before he did his first Power Slap event, he's never been hit in the face in his life. He got hit in the face and he loved it. So,
Damn.
Yeah, that's just a little interesting tidbit about that. Blackburn
That says anything about the quality of fighters you get going on Power Slap.
Well, really, all you gotta have is a nice connect, and you know, get your 8 balls on the low, and you're good for Power Slap. But yeah, so Blackburn, he got the win. The last fight of the night was the Crazy Hawaiian versus who we'll just call Van. He's just a fat fuck, and I can't say his last name. But it was boring. You would think guys who have almost 400 pounds on them would have some power, but they had the power of Ian Gary's wife. You know, the power of if they had the power of Ian Gary's will to be able to sit in the corner and watch his wife be pleasured by her ex-husband / his nutritionist, then these guys would have put on a really exciting performance. But unfortunately, they don't have that type of perseverance and strength mentally. So instead, what we got was just a nice slapping snooze fest. You know.
They got a lot of work to do, but it's fun as hell. You guys should be checking that out. If you got nothing going on a Friday, just watch some people get slapped in the face. It'll cheer you up.
Yeah, I mean, it's free. I mean, why wouldn't you tune in? I would never pay for an event, but if it's free, fuck it. I'll watch it. But, yeah, so that's it for that. We gave our picks on Diaz versus Masvidal, which we have Masvidal just creaming Diaz. I don't think there's any other events. Is there a one going on next weekend? Look up one July 5th. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we don't have a one going on this upcoming weekend. But I could be wrong. Asians do not celebrate July 4th, so yeah, there's that. They do fireworks on Chinese New Year. China.
Not as fast as Jamie on.
Yeah, you're more like Jaime than Jamie.
Doesn't look like anything's going down.
Okay, so yeah, all we got this upcoming weekend is gonna be Diaz versus Masvidal. We were wrong on all our picks this week, but I'm gonna tell you from the bottom of my heart that if Diaz somehow knocks out Masvidal, I'm probably gonna take a bath with a toaster involved. So yeah, there's that. And I'm from 209, but we can't let this fucking guy who hits like a fucking cat. You know, when he fought Jake Paul, he's just pawing at him like a little kitty. We can't let that guy beat Masvidal. I mean, Masvidal, in reality, if Jake Paul gets past Mike Perry, our only hope for Jake Paul to get defeated is Masvidal. He's the only good striker that's released from the UFC that Jake Paul would entertain because of his age.
Well, we all seen Masvidal boxing in the backyard, when it didn't count for nothing, just building his name up. And he clearly loves to fight.
Yeah, well, we also saw Masvidal get dominated by Colby Covington, and then him having to go back, and catch Colby Covington while he's walking away.
Well, yeah, I mean, Masvidal did hit him one time and had Colby taking a knee for the troops.
Yeah, he took a knee for the troops, dude. That wasn't because of the hit. That was because of the fact he respects our country so much.
Yeah,
mid-fight
respect right after a punch from Masvidal.
Yeah, the punch just happened to land at the same time he decided to take the knee. That's really what it came down to. If you put it on paper, if you write it down on paper, that's the way it played out. Just like how Anthony Smith would beat Pierre on paper. On paper, Anthony Smith is champion, and that's just the facts.
We've seen Masvidal fight live a couple times, and it's always dope.
I met Masvidal. In fact, I'll put a little fucking clip in here when I do the editing, and you can see I met Masvidal. And guess what? I whispered right in his little fucking ear, 50-45. It was right after he fought Colby. And you know what he did? He said, "You right." He said, "You right, my ninja." So, yeah, there's that. But, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. We were supposed to have a special guest, and, he had something pop up. So that kind of killed that segment of the show. But we have a few guests lined up next weekend. Nate Diaz, he is interested in coming on. He told me he has Saturday free, and maybe a PFL fighter. So we'll see where that goes. And we're also working on someone from Oakdale Bud, to come on. So we'll see. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video with your mom. I'm sure she'll love our takes on Ian Gary and his love life. Maybe gift a fucking Panda shirt to your grandma. I don't know. She's getting old, so she'll pass on. Maybe you'll get the shirt in the will. You never know. Maybe you'll be able to rep the cool shirt from Dead Granny.
We got merch for animals too, guys. Don't forget. You can
dude. If you guys got a sheep, dude, and you want to take them to the edge of a cliff, we got the boots for you.
Finesse those cats with the catnip, guys. That's what we always say.
That's what we always say. You got to finesse them with the catnip. But, next time we see you guys, hopefully you aren't all virgins. Have a good one.